The Certificate in Adaptive and Innovative Ministry gathers leaders from all over the country to learn and practice community together, because we believe people in the room are the ones that make the experience. We can teach theories of change and offer practices for community discernment, growing trust, and managing anxiety as a leader, but the real innovation is done by leaders doing creative work on the ground. This is why we learn together as a cohort, why we take the time to travel and explore together, eat and laugh, and vision together. We aren't just offering training, we're building a movement. Students have a place to really integrate the things that we're learning in the classroom and the things that they're doing in their context.
Part of the program is that students are invited to do a kind of 360 review of their ministry. These are always really powerful experiences for the student because they're invited to kind of go in and do a deep listening to the people that they're doing ministry with.
What it does is it provides an opportunity for students to rethink what ministry leadership looks like and what it can look like.
I wanted some theological education without committing to a 4-year program because I just didn't have time or interest in a 4-year program. And so I got the pieces that I wanted and needed.
I started to see an opportunity for a ministry leader to be someone who listens deeply to a community, is a neighborhood presence, who gets to know businesses, community members, and to start seeing where the gifts lie in the community, to start to see where there's connections that can be made. And so you don't have to be in control of everything. You don't have to hold it all together. Instead, you get to be a person who listens and a person who connects.
Learning how to build collaborative partnerships, learning how to listen well to others, and then to exercise discernment in relationship to what we hear is a key part of, I think, any revitalization strategy.
The AIM program gave us and them an opportunity to speak and be listened to and to really be heard. And that has been a really big change because I can talk. But I'm learning that it's more important to listen.
And that's actually really important because we otherwise don't have a renewing of the church. We otherwise don't have a calling to confession for the ways that the church has got it wrong.
And if we're going to be a church of the community, we have to listen to what's going on in the community. This is it. This is what God's kingdom's about.
We're going to learn to just slowly take our time and figure out who we are first and what God's calling us to do.
And so I think that is one of the biggest takeaways that people can get out of this program is the capacity to discern and to learn how to listen again.
And I think that practice of listening and then confessing leads into the opportunity to create shared practices as a community, to join together and to continue to walk with one another because we've built this trust with one another that we will tell the truth.
The language of church started to be a very limited, like this is a building with a steeple, it has red carpet, there are pews, they are in a line, you'll look at the back of someone's head towards the pastor who's in the middle. And that isn't what we're trying to do. When I thought about what we wanted students to come away with is a renewed imagination. Because the bottom line is you can't figure out where you're called to next if where you're called to next is something that you haven't imagined as possible yet. So the new name of our program is the Center for Adaptive and Innovative Ministry.
The strategy of the program is to help us learn how to better listen to our own vocation, listen to what God is saying to us, to listen to our neighbors and what God might be saying in and through them, and then to gain the hope and the courage to take some risks in developing something new or joining in with something that God's already doing.
And I think that's the hope of this curriculum, is to be a community that's nimble, to be a community that's open.
So something that I think that I took away from the program was how my leadership skills can work in different environments. I was not anticipating at that point that I would be the executive director of the Pittsburgh Project or the executive director of anything. After having gone through the program, I learned some different skills, how to adapt in different situations, how to adjust.
I ran for political office, which I'm doing currently. All of these things, these kind of professions of service really spawned from being in this cohort.
As a technology entrepreneur, I came into this world full of confidence for my previous life, but a little unsure of myself going forward in ministry.
So what we do is we create a space where that vision of vocation can be affirmed, and people can engage in practices and community and conversation and relationships where they can hear where it is and what it is that God might be calling them to do.
There's something about the program, there's something about the intimacy that's formed in the cohort that really nurtures students to take that posture of encouraging one another.
One of my favorite things that I've seen between students is people from totally different worlds, denominationally or church-wise or even ministry-wise, listening fully to someone else's story and then really finding themselves rooting for that person.
And all of this then culminates in a capstone project where students are invited to take their learning into their context, experiment with something or to try something or to learn something in their context and then bring that back. And so the capstone project is really a moment of sort of collaborative learning where the students become the experts in the room and they can learn from one another.
It's very hard to onboard something into your philosophical mind if you're not also seeing how it functions in the world. And so we want people to really try things out. And in fact, our coaching experience ends with the final project. And the reason those are connected is because we want students to be thinking about what their context needs based on what they're learning.
Come talk to us. Like, we want to hear your ideas. We want to brainstorm with you. We want to join in that energy you have and imagination you have and begin to think what is possible.
Do you have an idea out beyond the borders of what you've seen? Are you interested in practices for leading and holding space for transitions and transformation? Check out our website or shoot us an email. We'd love to talk with you.